FM. Okay, what's the problem? You've been in jail for 99 days. You're out now. What is going on?
The City of Roswell government is out of control.
Okay, why? What are they doing?
After me. They took me to court over a ridiculous thing of me having chickens in the yard, and they lost. They then rewrote the law, came after me again, lost again.
Okay, hold on one second. How many chickens in your yard?
Originally, I had about 20 or 25, and I get up into maybe 40 or 50 chickens, but I also have quail, and I have miniature quail that are no bigger than a salt shaker, 3 inches tall.
Okay, are you on a farm area, or are you in a residential area with a bunch of houses around you?
I'm in a residential area, but I'm on an acre. I'm secluded. I've got woods behind me, woods next to me, and up until they started citing me and harassing me, I didn't have any neighbors at all that complained. My neighbors were happy. They brought their kids over. The neighborhood kids came around. Everyone was happy with it.
Okay, so was it like a little neighborhood zoo almost?
Not really, but all the neighbors knew I had them. Once it got in the paper and on TV and started coming around. Before that, it was just, the 2 or 3 neighbors that came over and got eggs from me.
Okay, so the city came over to you and said, hey, cut back with the chickens, or did they say no chickens?
They said no chickens are not allowed. And what's interesting is the law is very clear at that time. It said on more than 2 acres, you may have livestock except for poultry and swine. On less than 2 acres, you may not have livestock except for poultry and swine. So on less than 2 acres, I could have poultry and swine.
Okay, so you had...
The mayor of Roswell met with me, read the law, called the code enforcement director into his office, and she came in trotting along with the city attorney, and they said that our mayor, who is also a lawyer, was reading the law wrong. And she stood up and said, let's just give him a ticket and see what happens. And the mayor's reply was, he'll take you to court and he's going to kick your behind.
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened after Governor Barnes stepped in to represent me.
Okay, you had the governor come in the former governor come in and help you out.
Correct. He stepped in because he thought it was a wrong, and he wanted to see the right thing happen, and he also happens to be a chicken man.
Okay, so you went to court a couple times, you've won twice, then what happened?
Then Roswell started citing me for a nuisance, since they couldn't get me on the chickens, since I was grandfathered in. And when they couldn't find anything, they then went to Fulton County and called Fulton County and had them come out, the health department. They found that my firewood was not stacked properly off the ground. You have to have it on pallets. You can't have your firewood stacked on the ground.
Wait. They came to your house and told you how to stack your firewood?
You heard it right. Under the direction of the City of Roswell.
Wow. Wow. That I've never heard before.
Once I got the firewood stacked properly, Roswell still wasn't happy, so they again called health department and had them come out with animal control to inspect the animals, who got a clean bill of health, of course.
Okay.
Then the city cited me for a nuisance. During this whole period, my property has started to flood since '02. My property and my neighbors, due to overbuilding in Roswell. We had been under the impression that it was due to the fact we're in a 100-year floodplain. Well, what came to light in the flood of 2009 was not only are we in a floodplain, but this is stormwater runoff as opposed to normal flooding. I mean, in the last 3 months of '09, I had 12 floods on my property. And we're not talking 6 inches of water. We're talking about a wall of water 4 feet deep that'll move an 8,000-pound, 28-foot boat 10 feet across your yard and lift it off its trail.
How'd you get in jail?
I graded my property to try to keep the floodwaters from my home.
Okay.
With a bobcat. Pushed dirt up closer to the house. And they gave me a citation for not getting a permit, but I can't get a permit because you cannot grade in a floodplain without a $10,000 environmental study done. So they put me in jail to keep me. During this whole time, it caused financial problems, and the city actually called my mortgage holder, it was a private individual, and threatened an 80-year-old woman that if she did not foreclose on me because I was behind on my payments, which was an agreement she and I had that she was going to wait for the lawsuit, that they were going to take the property from her.
Wait. The city called a woman, your mortgage holder, and said to foreclose on you?
Correct.
I've never heard of such a thing.
It's in violation of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. It's in violation of so many laws.
What's going on now? Now you're out of jail, but things aren't done yet, right? I mean, you're in some trouble right now.
No.
What's happening today?
I haven't been able to find a lawyer who wants to go after Roswell, and for my lawsuits, I also need a property attorney that can help unwind the foreclosure because it was done illegally and with massive improprieties, with Roswell interfering in the foreclosure and the bankruptcy. So they have since filed for an eviction, and the judge refused to allow me a continuance to get a lawyer, and they could show up anytime.
What do you mean anytime? Are you seriously thinking they're coming today?
They could be here today. They could be here tomorrow. There's no way of telling. I've got a house I've lived in for 16 years. I never refinanced my mortgage. I had a 22-year mortgage I was 16 years into. And this fight has literally cost me everything. It's cost me my retirement fund, every penny I've had.
All right, what if you said, okay, Roswell, I give up. I'm taking, you can have my chickens. I just want to live in peace. Can you do that?
Sure. When they write me a check for the property damage.
And
because the property's uninhabitable.
Okay, and the property is, why is it their fault again?
Because they allowed overbuilding, and they have not managed their stormwater problem. They're under federal mandates for lack of maintenance and not properly handling it.
All right, Andrew, do you have a way for folks to get a hold of you if they want to help out?
They can call me anytime, and my phone number is 404